Alright, so trying to get everything ready and prepared to go at it all at once, so I only have to weld one little spree. Probably be like a day or two welding, but you know, I'm getting all my pieces in order, and I have several things that I'm adding to this rack. Here it is off the truck, as it stands now, and it's you know, it's held up a little under a year now. Some rust forming on the bottom here. You know, I only put, it's really hard to see in this light, I only put you know, a good solid coat, maybe 2-ish, but it needs more. It's starting to rust in a lot of areas, so definitely want to paint it again. I want to clean it all up too. It's, you know, it's got grease over here from my bearings on each side. It's got a bunch of grease, and want to clean it up real nice. Everything else seems to have held up. It's nice and square still. So I only want to weld once, obviously, so I only have to paint once, and it's a whole process. So I have these, which I talked about in another video, but I'll talk about them again. They're spring-loaded spring pins, and basically the cool thing about these, got these from the manufacturing supply company. Cool thing about them though is you can take the inner parts out, specifically the spring, because you can't really weld the spring. It loses all its tension. So you have just the housing for that you weld. And then once it's welded in place, you can screw the innards back in. But something I've wanted since I, you know, conceptualized this, something I've seen on other builds that other people have done, so I just hadn't ordered them or, you know, put it into my plan. But I did get 2 of them, one for each side. I figured I'm going to put them back over here by the hinge, and so I got the T one, so I might be reaching around. I got nice long arms, so it won't be that big a deal, but I'm going to have them walk in 2 positions, once closed and once open at a 45 degree. Is that 45? 90 degrees. Excuse my geometry. So that's one project. They had to weld those there. Then these are bed frame rail ends. I went and plugged up the holes, welded them a little bit closed. Might do a little spots where I didn't fill in very well. I'm grinding it down, and then I'll weld it on the end here. In fact, it's gonna be, where's the other one? This one's gonna be the one here, because it's gonna hang off the edge a little. It's gonna hang off the edge a little because it's gonna wanna catch the you know, the 45. It's gonna be, this is gonna be on the outside of here, so when it's open, it's gonna be over right around here area. So still gotta grind the back of that one. Already did that with one, but anyway, so it's gonna ride about here-ish. I like the angle, it's already cutting it. I'm gonna welder it. Only problem is right here, it kind of rubs on the, jeez, I'm getting that angle. Kind of rubs on the hinge. I'm gonna figure out, like, maybe cut it out a little bit, or maybe bend it. Oh, just so it doesn't rub on the barrel hinge mount there, the axle hinge, whatever you want to call it. So that's that. That's another part that I'm going to have to weld. Yeah. Then I also have my telescoping light pole project that I talk about in another video. That's going to come out right around here. It's going to be riding along this line-ish between this body part and this part, because eventually I'm going to do a roof rack, and I want that rack to be usable with the top off, so it's going to mount here and maybe even on the lower hinge too, flat, just for so I'm going to get extended bolts and the whole deal, so you can take the top off but still have the roof rack on, la la la. So I want that bar to be running right here down to these hinges, see, so that telescoping light rod is going to be right here, so they don't interfere with each other down. So that, excuse my dirty mess in the shed here, that is going to be this guy. So that's two rods, one fits in the other, put a hole in it with spring pins. Yeah, one of these little deals, real simple stuff, you just push it in, it locks when it pops back into the next hole. So about the simplest slide. So that is that with these two lights. I had to get all the mount and everything ready to weld. And weld that right on top. Got the wiring all set up and ready to go. And then I also been working on this little project, which is inspired by friggin' Widowmaker over there at the Redneck Vlog. Redneck Vlog. Anyway, he did a similar project to this on his back rack, but figured I'm gonna. This grill here is from a speaker. It's a 12-inch speaker grill, but I cut out and this is the Wreckers symbol, by the way. It's not a normal Autobot. It's the Wreckers Autobots. But I cut it out of I don't know, is this 1/8 inch thick or some shit? Anyway, so that's how I'm going to have it on there. And then I want to have it here on the spare tire. So the thing about that, I'm going to have on the back side of this piece here, I'm going to have a couple of, I'm going to have a bar that goes across here and a bar that goes across here. And then it's going to have two studs. It's going to have a stud on the top and two on the bottom that go through. And those studs will go through, bleep, opposite where the bolts are. And then on the back side, I haven't figured out this last little tidbit, but I'm going to have some way of locking this thing onto there. So this essentially will be kind of like a very, very pretty shield to get at my bolts to protect stealing my spare tire. Even though my spare tire isn't even all that worth stealing, you know, this current one, but in the future I might have a brand new one. And also, I don't want them to steal that, so maybe I'll tie the whole thing into a lock for my high lift jack. You know, some sort of a cable, I don't know, loop lock system. I'll figure it out. I've got a few ideas in mind. But so I'm going to weld that, and of course I got to flip it over and weld the back side. I have a little rubber ring that goes around this, but I think I'm going to source a new one because it's the one I have is really old and falling apart. But I think that'll be cool on there too. And then last but not least, just because I'm totally ripping off friggin' Widowmaker because he's my friggin' idol, I'm going to get some LED lights and put them in here. I'm going to hook them up to my trailer, plug in when it's not in use, and then it'll have a brake and turn signal. So that'll be on the back, you know, it's just something cool for the driver behind me to look at and enjoy. And I saw one of those, what do they call them? Memes, those internet Facebook memes, and it had a big giant semi with a giant Autobot symbol on the back of the cab, in between the cab and the trailer, and the meme said that the little text part said, "We've been following you for 20 miles. Transform already." But anyway, thought that was cute. So that's getting all this ready. I have to, I don't know, I'd like to find a new one of these because this one's a little bit bent, but I need to get all this the paint that's on here off. It's really good paint. I mean, it's that kind of high gloss, kind of enamel almost. Maybe I'll try it with a sandblaster, wire brush, grinder. I don't know. I'd get a new one. I mean, this one's pretty thick, and it's just serving as like kind of a holder. The bar across the back is really going to be just kind of an extension. I mean, like I weld it here, and then I'm going to pretty much weld on the back side, so it's going to fuse it all together. So even if you like cut all around this, you're still not getting the meaty part of it, which is the straps that go across the back and the studs that go through here. So that's pretty cool and unique and better than everybody on the road. So friggin' Widowmaker. Cheers. That's it. Now, get all this prepped. Still has paper on it when I cut it out. My homemade bandsaw. Gotta grind all that off. I'm gonna do a really like high grind shine on it, and then I'm gonna do a clear coat on the actual these guys. And hopefully paint the rest black. Hopefully I can do that without overspraying. We'll figure something else out. We'll figure it out. Maybe, yeah, well, it'll be painted when I welder it. Anyway, that's where I'm at. Until next time, I'll show you the progress. Cheers.